Good to have you here with us today. So Kathy, I wanted to talk about an article from the Associated Press that I found that's really interesting. Now, there will be a link to the article in the description below as well. Here's the headline, and I thought it was really intriguing. Even simple exercise may help aging brain, study hints. Okay, so this is about new research that did a study that said a simple exercise routine just might help older Americans with mild memory problems. Now that's the lead of the article. So here's the gist of it. Researchers had a sample of about 300 sedentary older adults. So sedentary, you're sitting around all day, right? You're retired, maybe you're on the couch, you're watching, reality TV, whatever. 300 sedentary older adults with hard to spot memory changes called mild cognitive impairment, mild cognitive impairment, or MCI, a condition that's sometimes, but not always, a precursor to Alzheimer's. So people with this MCI seem to be more susceptible to getting Alzheimer's disease. So in this study, half of the folks were assigned aerobic exercises and the rest did stretching and balance moves that only modestly raised their heart rate. So it wasn't like a big hard workout, right?
Correct.
Okay. After a year, cognitive testing showed overall neither group's memories had worsened, nor did brain scans show that the shrinkage that accompanies worsening memory problems. By comparison, similar mild cognitive impairment patients in another long-term study of brain health, but without exercise, experienced significant cognitive decline over a year. In other words, their memory got worse. The results suggest, according to one of the researchers, that this is doable for everybody, not just seniors healthy enough to work up a hard sweat. Okay, here's a key quote. Exercise needs to be part of the prevention strategies for at-risk seniors, the researcher said. Now, Kathy, this may seem like common sense, right? Exercise is good for you, but many seniors don't do that, do they?
They don't. And so I would say it says for at-risk seniors to be the ones that try to exercise more. I would say for all people, you actually don't even know if you're at risk for dementia. Yes, if you have it in your family, if it is a genetic thing, yes, you know. But that doesn't mean even if nobody in your family has it, doesn't mean that you might not have it in the future. One thing to point out in this study is you always have to look at limits for the study. Like, what are the things that maybe make the study something that maybe is questionable, or not even questionable, but just needs further evaluation. And the study points it out. One is that the best comparison would have been if they had the same number of patients and half exercised and half didn't. And what would happen to their cognitive decline, and what would happen to the MRIs of their brain. And they make a point of that there's further studies that needs to be done.
So it's important to point out the limitations
Yes.
that are there as well. So how much and what kind of exercise were done in this study? So we have kind of a baseline. What were they doing exactly? So in this study, seniors were supposed to get moving for 30 to 45 minutes, 4 times a week, whether it was a hard workout on the treadmill or the stretching exercises, right? Just stretching, yoga types of things, right? Nothing that's all that difficult. Now, that could be a big deal if you're really sedentary, even stretching and doing minimal movement. But the scientists said that the mild cognitive impairment effects on the brain make it even harder for people to plan and stick with the new activity. So if you're experiencing this, it can be kind of a domino effect, right? It can affect your memory, and that can make you less likely to even remember to do it next time. But isn't it true, Kathy, that anyone can just walk or stretch, right?
Yes and no. Before you start any exercise program, you really should confirm with your doctor it's okay. But any doctor will tell you you can move a little bit more than you do. And jokingly, you said before that retired people sometimes are sedentary. You don't have to be retired to be sedentary. You don't have to have increased age to be sedentary. It depends what job that you do. But back to the exercise, almost anybody can do different things that make body parts move. For example, you can be sitting on the couch while watching the same TV show or listening to the music you're listening to, but you can move your arms. You can, simple stuff that might be shocking to think it's movement, but particularly females who don't have the same upper body strength in general as men, just doing simple things like stretches with your arms while sitting still, 1 pound dumbbells even, moving arms up, down, sideways. I can demonstrate it if you want. Minimal stuff.
Right.
Can happen, and you don't even have to have weights. You don't have to have anything. The moving your arms, particularly in people who don't do much exercise, can actually increase your heart rate.
Exactly. So, and even if you're injured, that's not an excuse, right? For instance, talk about your recent episode and how it's affected your running.
Yeah, I've been a runner for more than 40 years. It's one of the things I love to do. I do like exercise in general, but that's definitely my favorite. I had what I call a big wipeout. I just hit uneven pavement on a regular run, and I injured quite a significant amount of myself. But now I'm walking, and it feels great because it's stretching out some soreness. Now, did I do it the first couple of days after the fall? Absolutely not. But it's a new thing. I enjoy it. It's not the same thing, but it's very fun for me too.
Right, and today, in fact, we did a roughly 80-minute walk together, and that was a lot of fun. So even if you're injured, again, check with your doctor, as you said. Don't let anything stop you from doing some movement. Anything you're doing is going to be better than doing nothing to help the cognitive impairment. In other words, memory loss and things like that. Don't just accept your condition, your situation. You can stretch, anything that gets you moving seems like it's going to be a benefit, doesn't it?
You can even do sitting. You can stretch legs, knees, ankles while sitting. Falls are a very common problem for people as they age because their balance isn't the same, although more movement will help with your balance, and there are specific exercises to improve balance. But if you're trying to do stretches, I would do it where you have a wall nearby, where you have a table nearby, a chair holding onto the back of the chair while you're stretching, because you don't want to increase movement and then end up with a fall because of it.
Exactly. In a nutshell, move and you'll be better. Move a lot, you'll be even better, but move even a little bit and your memory is likely to stay better longer. Your brain is likely to be healthier for longer, right?
Correct.
And when you move, like Kathy and I did today on our walk, you may actually see some wildlife and some other interesting things out there, right?
Correct.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks for being here with us. We'll see you in the next one. Kathy, love you.
Love you too.